Rain whispered against the windows of the Morton house, a fragile rhythm echoing through its wooden bones. Claire Morton sat at the kitchen table grading art projects under the dull glow of a hanging bulb. Her daughter Lily was drawing again, small hands smudged with pastel dust, blue eyes distant, as if staring through the paper itself. "What are you making, sweetheart?" Claire asked softly. Lily didn't answer. Her pencil moved faster, carving dark strokes across the page. When she finished, Claire froze. It was their home. Every shingle, every window. The girl looked up, expression blank. "It's what I saw, Mommy." Lightning split the sky, and the lights flickered for a heartbeat. The drawing seemed to move, firelight dancing across the page. The storm rumbled outside and somewhere deep in the forest. Something unseen stirred. Smoke lingered like a ghost above the ruins. Claire Morton stood barefoot in the wet grass, clutching Lily against her chest. The morning sun struggled through the haze, revealing what once was their home. Charred beams, twisted metal, the skeleton of a life erased. Neighbors whispered from a distance, afraid to step closer. Claire's mind spun between disbelief and horror. The smell of ash was the same as in Lily's drawing. Fire crews moved in slow motion, their radios crackling faintly. A firefighter lifted something from the rubble, a half-melted picture frame, their family photo inside. Claire's breath hitched. Lily stared at the scene in eerie calm, eyes reflecting flame even in daylight. "I told you, Mommy," she whispered. Claire turned toward her daughter, heart breaking as realization took hold. Her little girl had seen it coming. Inside a temporary shelter near the site, Claire sat wrapped in a gray blanket, shivering, though the air was warm. Detective Amara Hill, calm and composed, leaned across a folding table. "The fire started around 3 a.m., she said quietly. "No gas leaks, no lightning strikes that close. Someone lit it." Claire's lips trembled. "You think I did this?" Amara's dark eyes searched her face. Not accusatory, but probing. "I think your daughter might have seen something." Claire glanced at Lily, asleep on a cot, her small face peaceful. "She saw it before it happened," Claire murmured. Amara's brow furrowed slightly, skeptical yet intrigued. "Before?" she repeated. The silence stretched. The detective's pen stopped moving. The faint sound of rain returned outside, tapping rhythmically on the tin roof, like the night before. That night, Claire couldn't sleep. She sat alone on the back steps of the burned house, wrapped in her husband's old flannel. The forest whispered beyond the ruins. In her trembling hands, she held Lily's drawing, edges singed but intact. When she tilted it toward the dying campfire, she noticed something new. A small figure standing near the burning house, a man's silhouette. The lines were harsh, deliberate. She didn't remember Lily drawing that before. Fear settled deep in her chest. The image shimmered under the firelight, and for a fleeting instant, it felt alive again. The silhouette moving toward the flames. Claire crushed the paper against her chest, whispering to the night, "Who did this to us?" The forest didn't answer. Only the wind sighed through the pines, carrying the faint scent of smoke and truth. Lily's voice called out softly in the dark. "Mommy!" Claire rushed to her side inside the small motel room they now shared. Lily sat upright, trembling. "He was in the fire," she whispered. Claire knelt beside her, brushing curls from her damp forehead. "Who, baby?" Lily pointed toward the window. Outside, the forest swayed under moonlight. And for a heartbeat, Claire thought she saw movement, a tall shape slipping between the trees. Her breath caught. Lily clutched her mother's arm. "He was watching," she said, voice breaking. Claire pulled her close, whispering reassurances she didn't believe. As Lily drifted back to uneasy sleep, Claire looked out again. The forest stood silent now, but she could feel the gaze. Something waiting in the dark. The ember of the past not yet extinguished. The ruins of the Morton house smoldered beneath a gray sky as Detective Amara Hill moved carefully through the wreckage. Her trained eyes caught the smallest details, the unnatural burn patterns, the accelerant traces on the porch. Claire Morton stood behind the police tape, arms crossed tightly around her trembling body. "It started here," Amara said softly, crouching near a blackened step. Claire's breath hitched. That was where Lily's crayons had fallen the night before. "You're sure it wasn't lightning?" Claire asked. Amara shook her head. "No lightning. No power surge. Someone meant for this to happen." Claire turned her gaze to the forest, that endless dark wall of pine. As though it might answer her, somewhere inside she felt it. The past hadn't finished burning. Back at the motel, Claire sat beside Lily, who silently drew again. The child's crayons had been replaced by charcoal and a single red pencil. "What are you drawing now, sweetheart?" Claire asked. Lily didn't answer, only pressed the red line harder, carving a figure beside the burning house. When she finished, Claire's stomach dropped. A man stood near the flames, watching. His face was smeared with shadows, but the shape of his shoulders, broad, angular, was familiar. "Lily," Claire whispered. "Who is that?" The girl looked up, eyes distant. "He was there, Mommy." He lit the fire. Claire's hands shook as she turned the paper over. The sound of rain began again, steady and cold against the window. The truth was beginning to take form, one stroke at a time. Claire's fingers trembled on the steering wheel as she parked in front of Rowe and Morton Design, the office she once shared with Ethan Rowe. Inside, glass walls gleamed under sterile light. Ethan emerged from his office with that same practiced smile, tall and broad-shouldered, expensive suit immaculate. "Claire," he said smoothly, "I heard about the fire." Tragic. His eyes, however, betrayed nothing. "You were near our house the night it burned," she said quietly. Ethan laughed. A soft, dismissive sound. "You think I'd waste time out there?" She set Lily's drawing on his desk. His smile faltered just slightly. "She drew this before it happened." Ethan's gaze flicked from the paper to her face. Then he leaned forward, voice low. "Maybe she just has an imagination. Or maybe," he said, smirking, "you're looking for someone to blame." The air between them turned heavy, something unspoken burning there. Detective Amara Hill reviewed the forensics late that night. In the silence of her office, the evidence began to whisper truth. The burn pattern confirmed accelerant poured near the porch, the same spot where the business old logo plaque had once hung. A fingerprint, faint but identifiable, matched Ethan Rowe. Amara leaned back, eyes narrowing. "There it is," she murmured. But something else troubled her. The timing. The fire began minutes before the storm hit, too precise to be chance. She looked at the photo of the ruins again, and noticed a blurred figure near the edge of the forest, captured on a neighbor's security cam. A tall man walking away as the flames rose. The storm hadn't started yet. Fate, it seemed, had given her a shadow to chase. That night, thunder rolled again across the Vermont hills. Claire woke to the faint scent of smoke. But the motel wasn't burning. Lily sat upright on her bed, staring at the window. "He's doing it again," she said softly. Claire rushed over. Outside, a distant orange glow flickered in the forest. A shed near the ruins had caught fire. Claire grabbed her coat, dragging Lily with her as they ran into the storm. When they reached the edge of the property, she saw footprints in the mud leading toward the trees. heavy, male. The wind howled through the branches. Lily pointed with shaking hands. "He's there." Claire followed her gaze, heart hammering, and saw a shadow slipping between the trees, swallowed by the rain. Rain lashed against the motel windows. Claire Morton sat by the edge of Lily's bed, her mind looping through every conversation, every lie Ethan had told. Lily slept restlessly, murmuring in dreams. Her hand twitched, as though drawing invisible lines in the air. Claire's phone buzzed. "Detective Amara Hill. We found traces of accelerant in a gas can registered to Ethan Rowe's business," the detective said. Claire's heart froze. "He did this," she whispered. "He killed my husband. And now us." Amara hesitated. "Be careful, Claire. Don't confront him alone," but Claire already knew she would. As thunder cracked, she looked down at Lily's sleeping form and promised, "He won't hurt us again." Outside, lightning flashed, and for an instant, the reflection in the window wasn't Claire's face, but Ethan's. Smirking in the window wasn't Claire's face, but Ethan's, smirking. Storm light. The next morning, Claire drove to the old design studio she once co-owned with Ethan. Dust hung thick in the air, the silence unsettling. She moved through the half-abandoned workspace, fingers grazing blueprints still marked with their names. Memories flashed. Laughter. Betrayal. Signatures inked in trust. In the back room, she found a metal cabinet half open. Inside, containers labeled solvent, accelerant. Her breath quickened. Tucked behind them, a ledger. Ethan's signature beside falsified insurance policies, one filed just weeks before the fire. Her vision blurred with fury. The man she'd built her dream with had built his escape instead. She took photos with shaking hands, whispering, "You burned everything for this." Detective Hill leaned forward across her desk. "Claire, I need you to stay away from Ethan until we can secure a warrant." But Claire's voice came through the line low and determined. "You'll be too late." Amara exhaled. She'd seen this look before. The moment grief turns to vengeance. Across town, Ethan Rowe poured whiskey into a glass, unaware that fate was closing its hand around him. Rain pounded against his office windows. On his desk lay a folder. Insurance payout approved. He smiled faintly. But then his phone buzzed. An unknown number. He opened the message. A photo of the ledger and chemical cans. His smile faded. Beneath the image, one line of text glared back. "You'll burn for this." That night, Lily drew again. Claire found her at the motel table, eyes glazed, hand moving like she wasn't entirely there. "Lily," she whispered. The child didn't respond. The drawing showed a man trapped in flames, face twisted in agony. Claire's breath caught. "The man's hair, his build. It was Ethan. Did you see this?" she asked. Lily nodded slowly, voice trembling. "He was screaming, 'Mommy,' but no one helped him." Claire crouched beside her, hands on the girl's shoulders. "When did you see this?" Lily's eyes filled with tears. "It hasn't happened yet." Claire's heart pounded. The prophecy wasn't done. It was only waiting for its moment. The rain had stopped, but the air smelled of thunder. Claire drove to Ethan's secluded estate at dusk, her headlights carving through the fog. He opened the door wearing that same smirk. False, rehearsed. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "You killed him," she spat. "You killed Thomas, and then you tried to burn us out for the insurance." He laughed coldly. "You can't prove anything." Claire held up her phone. Photos of the evidence. For a moment, Fear flickered in his eyes. "You think anyone will believe your little ghost stories?" he hissed. "But Karma believes." Lightning illuminated their faces, two souls circling the inevitable. The storm was coming again. The night after Claire's confrontation, silence settled heavy over the motel. Lily Morton tossed in sleep, whispering words her mother couldn't understand. Claire watched helplessly as the girl's hands moved across the sheets, as though drawing in dreams. Then, without opening her eyes, Lily spoke, a voice not her own, older, hollow. "He burns where he lied." Claire froze. The air grew colder, even the lights dimmed. Lily gasped awake, sobbing. "It's happening soon." Claire pulled her close, whispering, "It's over, baby, is over." But Lily shook her head. Not yet. The fire's in the trees this time. Outside, wind began to rise, the scent of rain and smoke mingling as if the elements themselves were conspiring. Detective Amara Hill drove through the night, windshield wipers slicing rain. The warrant had finally come through, too late, she feared. The forensics, the insurance records, even witness testimony pointed to Ethan Rowe. Yet, something about Claire's words haunted her. "Hell burn for this." Amara didn't believe in curses, but experience had taught her that guilt has gravity. It pulls destruction to itself. As she neared Ethan's forest estate, she saw flashes through the trees. Not lightning, but firelight. Her heart sank. She radioed for backup. "Possible arson. Again," she said, voice tightening. Deep inside, she knew this wasn't just justice. Back in the motel, Claire woke to the smell of burning paper. On the table, Lily's drawing had caught fire. No candle, no spark, just flame blooming from the page. She rushed to smother it, but the fire danced away from her hand as if alive. The last image burned into the paper. Before disintegrating was Ethan's face, screaming inside a car engulfed in orange light. Lily stood motionless beside her, whispering, "It's starting." Claire stared at her daughter, trembling. "Where, Lily? Where is it?" The child turned slowly toward the window. "The forest," she said. "That's where he's going." Claire grabbed her keys, heart pounding. The storm outside roared like destiny calling their names. The forest road stretched ahead, slick with rain. Claire gripped the steering wheel, Lily silent in the passenger seat. "You can still turn back," the girl said softly. Claire's jaw tightened. "Not until he answers." Lightning flashed, revealing branches whipping in the wind like reaching hands. The car engine groaned as thunder cracked overhead. Lily stared through the windshield, her voice trembling. "He's already there. He's trying to leave." Claire's heart hammered. In the distance, faint against the rain, a glow flickered through the trees, headlights reflecting off smoke. She pressed the accelerator. The storm howled, trees bending as if bowing to what was coming. As they reached the clearing, time seemed to fracture. Lily's hand clutched Claire's arm, pointing. Through the trees, Ethan's car stood trapped between fallen branches, its headlights dim, hood smoking. Ethan Rowe inside beat against the glass, shouting, his face lit by the growing fire beneath the engine. Lightning split the sky, striking a nearby pine that ignited instantly. The storm roared as flames leapt higher, swallowing metal and flesh alike. Claire shielded Lily's eyes, sobbing, but the girl didn't look away. "It's not me, Mommy," she whispered. "It's the fire making it right." The inferno consumed everything. Ethan's greed, his lies, his last scream lost to the thunder. The storm raged long into dawn. By the time the rain stopped, the forest clearing was nothing but steam and ruin. Claire Morton sat on the hood of her car, staring at the charred skeleton of Ethan's sedan. Lily slept in the back seat, face peaceful for the first time in days. Detective Amara Hill arrived just after sunrise, stepping carefully over blackened debris. "You were here," she said quietly. Claire didn't deny it. He was already burning, she murmured. Amara studied her, not as a suspect, but as a mother who'd witnessed something beyond comprehension. "Do you believe in justice?" Claire asked. The detective looked toward the smoldering wreckage. "I believe in consequence," she said. The silence that followed was heavy, both of them knowing some fires burned for reasons no court could name. Amara spent the morning combing through the ashes of the car. Inside, the heat-fused fragments told their story, the lighter engraved with Ethan's initials, the melted remains of the insurance documents, the accelerant traces. Everything pointed to his guilt, and yet no one would ever know how he truly died. Claire watched from the car, arms wrapped around Lily. "What happens now?" she asked when Amara approached. "Paperwork," the detective replied softly. "The world will call it an accident." Claire nodded, looking toward the smoke curling through the trees. "It wasn't an accident," she said. "It was an ending." Amara met her gaze. Not arguing, only understanding. "Maybe that's the same thing," she said. Later that afternoon, Amara sat across from Claire in the sheriff's small office. Rain tapped faintly against the window again, a soft echo of everything that had come before. "I should have stopped him years ago," Claire said, her voice breaking. "When Thomas died, I knew it wasn't an accident." Amara listened, no judgment in her steady gaze. "Sometimes justice waits until we're ready to face it," she said. Claire nodded, staring at her hands. "I didn't light that fire, detective." "I know," Amara replied, "but something did." The words hung there. Not accusation, not absolution, just truth. The detective closed her notebook, leaving the silence unbroken except for the sound of rain and distant thunder. That night, in the quiet motel room, Lily drew one last picture. Claire sat beside her, half afraid to look. But this one was different. No flames, no shadows, no screaming figures. Instead, Lily had drawn the house again, the same old Victorian cottage, rebuilt. Sunlight pouring through every window. Claire's throat tightened. "What does it mean?" she whispered. Lily smiled faint. "It means we can go home now." Claire gathered her daughter into her arms, tears falling silently. Outside, the storm clouds broke apart, revealing the first stars in days. For the first time since that terrible night, the air smelled like rain and earth. Clean, new, forgiving. Weeks later, the foundation of the old Morton home had been cleared. With community help, Claire began rebuilding, hammer in hand. She looked up at the morning sun rising through the pine trees. Lily ran barefoot through the grass, laughing, her curls catching the light. Detective Amara Hill stopped by, carrying coffee. "You really are starting over," she said. Claire smiled softly. "No. We're finishing what was meant to begin." The detective nodded. "Sometimes justice looks like survival." Claire looked at her daughter and nodded. "And sometimes, that's enough." In the distance, birds sang above the ashes that once were, life blooming again from the soil of fire. Weeks after rebuilding began, the woods no longer frightened Claire Morton. She often walked them at dawn, listening to the hush between the trees. One morning she sensed a warmth on the air. Not sunlight, but the soft pulse of something alive. From the pines came a faint crackle, a whisper like burning logs, though no flame was visible. Lily Morton stepped beside her mother, barefoot in dew. "They're talking again," she said calmly. Claire knelt. "Who?" Lily pointed toward the forest heart. "The ones who remember." The breeze stirred, carrying a shimmer of heat that brushed Claire's skin. Gentle, forgiving. The fire wasn't gone. It had simply changed shape. That evening, thunder murmured far away, while Claire sorted old boxes salvaged from the fire. Inside one lay Thomas Morton's tools. handles scorched but intact. She traced his initials carved into the wood. Lily entered quietly, carrying a candle. "He's happy now," she whispered. Claire looked up. "You see him?" Lily nodded toward the flickering flame. For an instant, the light stretched tall, forming the faint outline of a man. Broad shoulders, gentle stance. Claire's eyes filled with tears. "Thomas," she breathed. The shape bowed once, then vanished as the candle steadied. The warmth that remained wasn't grief. It was gratitude. The fire had never meant to destroy. It had meant to return what was lost. Later that night, wind lifted through the open windows, scattering sketches across the floor. One page landed against the fireplace, Lily's last drawing of their home glowing in light. The paper didn't burn. Instead, lines shimmered, shifting until words formed along the border. Balance repaid, light renewed. Claire touched the page, and for a moment fire flared harmlessly along its edges, circling her hand without pain. She heard her husband's voice in the crackle. "Keep her safe. The gift is yours now." Lily watched silently, eyes wide but unafraid. Claire realized the fire wasn't a curse. It was memory, the world's oldest language of change. Detective Amara Hill arrived the next morning to deliver the final report. Case closed, cause undetermined. Yet as she stepped inside, she paused. The air felt warmer, humming faintly like a hidden current. Claire offered coffee, her demeanor lighter. "Strange thing," Amara said, glancing toward the fireplace. "After all that, no soot, no damage," Claire smiled. "Maybe it's protecting us now." Lily waved from the table, crayons scattered in sunlight. Amara studied the child's newest sketch. Flames, rising, not in destruction, but shaping a phoenix. "Beautiful," she murmured. Claire met her gaze. "It's what fire does best. Start again." At sunset, Claire and Lily walked to the edge of the forest one last time. The trees shimmered with tiny sparks of light, fireflies or something older. The air pulsed warm, gentle as a heartbeat. Claire whispered, "Is it over?" Lily took her hand. "No, Mommy, it's beginning." A single ember drifted from the forest, hovering before them like a star. Claire watched it rise, fading into the violet sky. The fire that once destroyed had become light, eternal and forgiving. Beneath the quiet pines, mother and daughter stood in the glow of balance restored, their shadows long but peaceful. Months passed, and the Morton house stood complete again, its walls sturdy, fresh paint bright against the gray sky. Claire stood in the doorway watching as Lily ran across the yard, laughing with the neighborhood kids. The wind had shifted, and the scent of new wood mingled with the freshness of rain. Claire breathed deeply, her chest light. It wasn't the house that made this home. It was the lives within it. As the sun dipped low, the warm glow of the windows reflected the world outside. The fire had returned, not as a destroyer, but as the force that gave them this second chance. "We're free now, aren't we?" Claire whispered to herself. The flames that had once taken so much had given so much more. One evening, Detective Amara Hill came by the house. She handed Claire a small box wrapped in plain brown paper. "It's from the town. They wanted to thank you for your patience, your strength through it all." Claire looked at the box, and a bittersweet smile crept onto her face. It wasn't the recognition she had sought, but it was something to close the door on the past. As Amara sipped her tea, she watched Lily show her a drawing of their house under a clear sky, no flames in sight. "She's still drawing," Amara said with a chuckle. Claire smiled. "But now she's drawing the future." Amara nodded, understanding. "That's the best thing she can do." That night, Claire and Lily lay on the freshly mown lawn, staring up at the stars. The sky had never looked so wide. The gentle hum of crickets filled the air, and the air smelled fresh like earth, rain, and light. "Do you think the fire will come back?" Lily asked softly. Claire turned to her daughter, her voice steady. "The fire is always with us, sweetheart," she said, "but not as a destroyer. It's part of everything, just like we are." Lily nodded, her eyes reflecting the stars above. "Then we'll keep it safe," she whispered. Claire smiled and pulled her close. Always. In the months that followed, life began anew for the Mortons. The house thrived, filled with warmth and laughter. There were no more strange dreams or visions. Only quiet mornings and long evenings by the fire. Claire had started teaching art again, and Lily found joy in drawing new, bright things. Her future, her friends, the world beyond the trees. As Claire walked through the yard, now blooming with flowers, she felt a deep peace settle within her. The fire had taken much, but it had given more. It had returned her to herself and to the ones she loved. And now the world was full of possibility. "We were home," she whispered to the wind. On the final evening, the sun dipped behind the trees as Claire stood by the hearth, the flames softly dancing in the fire pit outside. Lily sat beside her, a drawing of the house in her lap. "It's done, Mommy," she said. Claire smiled, her heart full. The fire that had once threatened to destroy everything had instead purified and renewed. It had brought them to this moment where the past and future existed side by side, each element in balance. As the fire flickered and cracked, Claire whispered, "We're free now. The fire's in the earth, and the earth is where we begin." The flames rose higher for a moment, as if in agreement, then settled into the night, leaving behind only light and warmth.